Charlotte Greger, Titus Freelish, Mason Proquin, Gabriela Vargo, Gianna Rodriguez, Ava Kelly, Lorelei Torres, and Harper Giordano.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Very good. Very good. Nice job. You're going to take pictures? Pictures? No, not pictures. Pictures first. Step forward. Step forward. Step forward. I have them. I have them. One for you. For you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
One for you. Didn't forget. Here.
Great job. Good job.
Thank you. I'll put back in the box.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given on December 11th, 2024 by the City Clerk in the following manner: posting written notice on the official bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, providing written notice to the offices of the Daily Journal and the Press of Atlantic City, and filing written notice in the office of the City Clerk of the City of Vineland.
Chair, I entertain a motion that the minutes of the pre-meeting conference and the regular meeting of February 11th, 2025, and the work session of February 18th, 2025, be approved as submitted.
So move. Second.
Any discussion by council? Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
I have Resolution 2025-81, a resolution recognizing Laura Gilroy upon retiring from public service effective March 1, 2025.
Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2025-81 be adopted according to law.
So move. Second.
Any discussion by council? Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur? Mr. English?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes. Laura here?
Yes.
Come on up. Front and center you come. Right near Mr. Petrosky. Right here.
That's a great reason.
Oh, man, how cute. I'll read this commending resolution. Whereas Laura Gilroy began her career with the City of Vineland on August 4, 1986, and whereas Laura, it says 86, I don't know, 84? Mr. Petrosky, we have to make a correction. Whereas Laura has furthered the city mission by providing valuable public service to the Vineland community, and whereas Laura has earned the respect and confidence of her co-workers and employer throughout her many years of faithful service, and whereas Laura Gilroy has earned a well-deserved retirement with the City of Vineland effective March 1, 2025, ending her public service career in the Department of Finance as principal accountant. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the City of Vineland extend their sincere thanks and appreciation to Laura Gilroy for a career of loyal and meritorious service with best wishes for many years of health and happiness. Congratulations, Laura. Correct that?
Thanks. Thanks. Offer to make a comment.
would you like to make some comments, Laura? The microphone is yours.
No, thank you.
Okay.
She's out.
I have Resolution 2025-82, a resolution recognizing Armando Pineda upon retiring from public service effective March 1, 2025.
Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2025-82 be adopted according to law.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion by council? Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes. Is Armando here? He is not here. A very similar resolution is put into the record. I'll give that to the deputy clerk, and he will make sure he gets it.
Okay. I have resolution number 2025-83, a resolution appointing Richard G. Franchetta, RMC EJD, as municipal clerk of the city of Vineland.
Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2025-83 be adopted according to law.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion by council. Big shoes to fill, Richard. Roll call.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes. This time the clerk will administer the oath of office to Mr. Franchetta.
Let's go over there. Do you have family that you'd like to have come up? I state your name.
I, Richard Franchetta,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially, and justly perform
all
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
as municipal clerk of the city of Vineland,
of the municipal clerk of the city of Vineland,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Rich, you got to sign some stuff, I guess.
8x10s. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I have Resolution 2025-84, a resolution appointing Mary Ann Wolf, RMC, as Deputy Municipal Clerk of the City of Vineland.
Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2025-84 be adopted according to law.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion by council? Mary Ann, you'll be much more fun than Rich. Roll call.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes. The clerk will administer the oath of office to Mary Ann Wolf. You can go up, guys.
Dad said. no.
Sure?
Oh, you shouldn't have. I state your name,
I, Mary Ann Wolf,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear truth, faith, and
to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and of this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
all the duties of the office
as Deputy Municipal Clerk
as Deputy Municipal Clerk
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. I have Resolution 2025-85, a resolution recognizing Keith Petrosky upon retiring from public service, effective March 1, 2025.
Chair will entertain a motion that resolution number 2025-85 be adopted according to law.
So move.
Second.
Council have any comments?
How befitting that he reads his last resolution to retire.
Keith, you will be missed. There is no doubt about that. I will be calling you, though, if I have questions. Anybody?
My fees are reasonable.
Okay.
That's going to be high.
As long as I
Dr.
got
Arthur?
bourbon.
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes. Mr. Petrosky will hand the meeting over to the municipal clerk, designee Richard G. Franchetta.
So, the police have the thin blue line, and the firemen have the thin red line flag. And the clerk, going way, way back, used to use a quill to keep minutes. Now, this one doesn't work so much anymore. It's kind of dried out. But I am passing along this symbolic symbol of the office of the municipal clerk to you, Rich. And I thank you for your professionalism. I thank my whole staff over the course of my career for all of their tremendous support and the work that they've done to make our office professional. And Marianne, I wish you all the best as well to be the sidekick to his honors.
Keith, I will read your resolution into the record at this time.
Sure.
Whereas Keith Petrosky began his career with the City of Vineland on December 5th, 1988, and whereas Keith has furthered the city's mission through his significant contributions and demonstrated unwavering dedication and professionalism while upholding the highest standards of administration, and whereas Keith has earned the respect and confidence of his coworkers and employer through his 36 years of faithful service and has left a lasting impact inspiring those who have had the privilege of working alongside him. And whereas Keith Petrosky has earned a well-deserved retirement from the City of Vineland effective March 1st, 2025, ending his public service career in the city clerk's office as the city clerk. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the City of Vineland extend their sincere thanks and appreciation to Keith Petrosky for a career of loyal and meritorious service. Best wishes for many years of health and happiness. And as a good friend, Keith, I wish you all the best, good health, and enjoy yourself.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Once again, I'm just honored to hold this position for 36 plus, well, this position for 30 plus years. I've been working for the city for over 36 years, and I appreciated every person that crossed my path. And I hope the citizens continue to be engaged, as when issues come up, you need to come here and let your elected officials know how you feel. For that, that's enough said. Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't have to go now.
Run it. His track shoes on.
All right, move in. Public comment. Public comment. Okay. We're going to go with the public comment, okay?
Yes.
We'll open up with the public comment. Public comment provides an opportunity for members of the public to inform the governing body about their views. The governing body prescribes the City Council's bylaws and the New Jersey statutes on open public meetings when engaging during public comment. As such, each individual shall have a 5-minute time limit. The comment cannot yield time to another individual, may only approach the podium once during public comment for any one topic. Vulgar, offensive language is prohibited, and the City Council will not engage in dialogue with the public during this time. The governing body maintains model courtesy and respect and requires the members of the public to do the same. We have,
At this time, before you go, the general public comment, you can speak on any topic that you like, but if you're here for a certain public hearing, rather than be redundant and speak 2 different times and et cetera, for expediency's sake, just hold your comments until the public hearing. Now, the public hearing basically is used for the topic of the public hearing. All right? So therefore, you have to stay on topic when you're there, and if there's redundancy, we will ask you to please stop if there's constant redundancy on issues that we've heard before, over and over and over, and we have to stay on topic. That being said, is there anyone who would like to step up to the podium for general public comment?
We have the first person that would speak is Georgette Shelton, speaking generally.
Good evening. I was sick the last time I was here, so I just wanted to clarify some things that we, the South Jersey AIDS Alliance and the Board of Directors, understands that you are not banning substance abuse treatment, mental health services, and nonprofits. You are, however, making them inaccessible, and by moving them, anyone who needs these services may not be able to get to them. To prove to you that these services are vital to New Jersey's overall community health, I wanted to make you aware that in a significant move to improve care delivery for individuals with opioid use disorder, the New Jersey State Department of Health announced yesterday the issuance of a rule waiver that will enhance access to opioid treatment services across the state. This rule waiver, which aligns state rules with federal guidelines that apply to opioid treatment programs, which includes methadone clinics, will increase access to opioid treatment services in New Jersey, reduce regulatory requirements on providers while maintaining the safe provision of services, and will ensure medications for opioid use disorder are provided in accordance with best practices and regulatory standards. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Jeffrey Madalena.
Good evening, City Council. I live at 2495 Cavallo Drive and having an issue with water intrusion on my property. All the research I've done, I've discovered there's a 20-foot easement there between the two properties, 2495 and 2485. 10 foot on my property, 10 foot on 2485. 2023, I replaced a fence. After I replaced the fence, there was water under the fence. Fence company had to pull the fence out. In the post holes was water. It looked like the water was seeping in from the neighbor's property. So I contacted code enforcement, and I really haven't had too much success. Asked Mr. Barcy to forward an email to all the council members. I hope he did that. Currently, I have a city engineer and the health department working on the issue. I would ask city council and city solicitor to please cooperate with those gentlemen. They're young, they are very intelligent, they've been very professional and very helpful up to this point. In the easement, I have a fence on my side and a pool that should have never been put in the ground by the city engineer that is butting up right to the easement. On the other side, there's two sheds, a garden, cyclone fences, and irrigation. So is the easement failing? Is the sheds and the garden and the irrigation causing issues? I don't know. I have a full-time job. I'm being asked to do most of the work and jump through a lot of hoops. So I'm here tonight just to ask for help. I just wanted to read something real quick that's off the Vineland website, according to code enforcement. And it states, it's a proclamation that states, the Vineland Code Enforcement Division is responsible for administering the city's property maintenance codes, which have been enacted to ensure all structures, premises, and vacant land are maintained in a clean, safe, secure, and sanitary manner. By doing so, blight conditions are avoided and property values are enhanced, which helps make Vineland a desirable place to live or maintain a business. I would argue that that hasn't happened on my property since 1997. So I would hope that instead of excuses and running away from the problem, that we try to solve it. They say you can't fix stupid, but I don't subscribe to that. I think you have to remove stupid from the equation. We have to work together, and we have to think outside the box, and we have to fix it. I mean, there's water coming on my property, and you're asking me to figure out what kind of water, where it's coming from. I mean, the development was built in the mid-'90s, and the grade, the pitch from the development, the high point is at the stop street of Palermo and Cavallo. It all grades down, so the property at 2485 is higher than my property. So, there's codes on the books that can be enforced, and if you're enforcing them for some properties, you need to enforce them for all properties, in my opinion. It has to be fair. In the city of Vineland, you're allowed one shed for a residential property. It has to be 6 feet from the property line. These two sheds aren't nowhere near 6 feet. They're in the easement. So I'm going to be changing my shed. When I change my shed, I'm sure you're going to tell me I have to be under, how are you going to do that when you have two sheds that aren't? So you're creating problems for yourself. And just one other thing I want to mention. I know you changed your stance on the sewer project, and my opinion is that's a bad idea, because every property on that street has leach fields, septic systems. They're 30 years old. Your health department representative said that that's the lifespan of a sewer system. So it's a costly project to hook up to the city sewer. It's costly to change out and build a new system. So I think you're encouraging people on that street to maybe do their own engineering and redirect their gray water or their storm water or even their sewer water. And if that's coming on my property, it's a health issue. So please, I'm asking for help. I don't want to have to, take legal action. I want to work together. If we can work together, I would greatly appreciate it. All right? That's all I really have to say.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Is there anyone else in the room that hasn't signed up to speak, that wants to speak generally?
General,
believe-
come on.
Go ahead. That's him. Are you David?
Yeah.
Okay, are you speaking on ordinance 9 and 10?
Yeah, should I wait for that?
Yeah, there'll be a public
Public hearing.
for that. All right. With no one else?
No one else? General public comment?
Okay.
All right, we'll close the general public comment portion. Thank you.
Mr. President, I present ordinance number 2025-9, ordinance amending ordinance 96-4 as amended, Chapter 425, Article 15, Sections 425-293, entitled B-1, Business Zone Standards, Section 425-294, entitled B-2, Business Zone Standards, Section 425-295, entitled B-3, Business Zone Standards, 425-298, entitled IN-1, Institutional Zone Standards, in accordance with Resolution 6667 of the City of Vineland Planning Board, which is ready for a continued public hearing.
Chair will entertain a motion that ordinance number 2025-9 be taken up for a continued public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes, this time, the clerk, do you have sheets for those as well?
Yes. So speaking on ordinance number 9, first up, we have Sheila Hand. Sheila Hand here.
Hi, my name is Sheila. My daughter Elizabeth died of endocarditis. I currently live in Bridgeton. My daughter Elizabeth died of endocarditis, a bacterial infection of the heart and heart valves, often caused by IV drug use. In my daughter's case, germs entered her bloodstream during IV drug use from using unclean or unsterile needles. In December 2012, Elizabeth called me from a Florida hospital and said she had a life-threatening disease. My dad and I flew down there. Elizabeth had endocarditis and needed open heart surgery. She was too weak for surgery. She was put on IV antibiotics. When she was strong enough, the head cardiac surgeon performed open heart surgery and removed growths from around her heart and heart valves. After 6 weeks of IV antibiotics, she was released. On a Thursday in April, Liz called me to chat, not mentioning anything was wrong. The next day, I got a call from a Florida hospital. A nurse told me Elizabeth had been admitted with endocarditis and her blood work was incompatible with life. Several hours later, her doctor called to tell me she would not survive. She was unconscious but comfortable. That night at 1:30 a.m., I got a phone call from a nurse saying Elizabeth had just passed away. I've told you Elizabeth's story because Elizabeth is a perfect example of a person who would have benefited from a harm reduction center. In Florida, where Elizabeth was living, there were no syringe services programs. Elizabeth reused needles and shared needles. At some point, Elizabeth contracted hepatitis C from sharing needles. If Elizabeth had had access to a syringe services program or a harm reduction center, she might be alive today. At a harm reduction syringe services program, Elizabeth would have been able to get clean, sterile needles. She might have been able to access health services and treatment. Being a regular at a harm reduction syringe services program like South Jersey AIDS Alliance brings connection to people who care and who understand with no judgment or shaming. I'm going to read a quote from a CDC report dated February 4th, 2024. References for
Excuse
the
me,
quote.
ma'am, for a second. We're talking about a zoning scenario here. I'm trying to get to the point.
Okay, I'll read the quote from the CDC. Syringe services programs can benefit communities and public safety by reducing needle stick injuries and overdose deaths without increasing illegal injection of drugs or criminal activity. To lose SJAA's syringe service program would be a huge loss for Vineland. There would be more deaths of Vineland residents, more death and more disease spread with unclean needles, diseases such as hepatitis C and HIV. Many more overdose deaths since naloxone and Narcan would no longer easily be available from the syringe services program. If the FJAA's program has to move due to zoning changes, it is extremely questionable whether they will find a new location that will work for them and their clients. The people who used to go to SJAA Center will have no safe place to meet. Where will they go? Where will they be welcomed in a way that helps them see that if they want, they can make positive changes in their lives? Change can happen when a person who has interactions with empathetic and non-judgmental people. That's what harm reduction centers such as SJAA can do. Harm reduction centers bring hopes to people who do not have much hope and guides them towards being healthier, staying alive longer, so there is more of a chance that positive change can happen. No judgment, no shame, just caring and empathy to help make lives better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, speaking on ordinance 9 and 10 is David Antigy. I apologize for the pronunciation.
Once again, we would appreciate it for expediency's sake. We understand the benefits of harm reduction. We've heard it, we know it, we've researched it, so we're not questioning that. We're talking about zoning issues and where they're going to be allowed to do the practice of harm reduction within the city. So please keep your comments into that stationary area.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
My name is David. I'm actually the landlord of SJA and Maryville. They're both phenomenal tenants.
Sir, speak into the mic because we really
David
can't pick it up.
Anteby.
There we go.
Antebi.
And you're the landlord, sir?
Yeah. West Long Branch, New Jersey.
West Long Branch, right? Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
So, as you said, I don't want to get off board. I understand your stance on the substance abuse and stuff like that. But 2 weeks ago, after Ms. Hicks gave some, I guess, wording regarding nonprofits and tying that into this whole zoning issue, if I'm not misunderstood. So I spoke to Ms. Hicks afterwards, and I believe that she's saying that no nonprofits are going to be allowed in this zone, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true or no?
That's not, yeah, go ahead, Brick.
Is his mic on?
Proposal is to be in a B3 or an IB hospital zone. And so could be different services that, it'd be a nonprofit that doesn't provide a particular service, they're permitted there.
What type of services is not? What type of nonprofit services would?
It could be an office, I don't know.
I'm saying, so
Business office.
So my point is, I'm saying if it's, I don't understand the language correctly, but I would like nonprofits to be able to be in the area. Similar if somebody's teaching basketball for money or teaching basketball not for money, the business, a nonprofit and a business is the same intellectual. But if you're telling me that they'll both be allowed there, or they won't?
Depends if they
According to
provide a
the-
service or if they're just an office, like Boy Scouts has an office in your building.
Let's say they provide basketball training or math tutoring.
I'm sorry, say
Let's
that
say they
again.
provide math tutoring.
Mass tutoring?
Math.
Tutoring.
Would they be allowed in the B2 zone?
I don't know what that, mass?
Math. Math.
Oh,
tutoring.
math, I
Sorry.
thought you said mask. Okay, well, that would be considered a service. The way the ordinance would be read is that would be, if that's a nonprofit, they would not be permitted there.
I think that's too general and broad for the zoning issue, because a nonprofit is a business, hypothetically. A nonprofit's really classification like an LLC or something like that. So that's really my only point is for nonprofits, as a tutoring service in the B2 or not B2, for money or not for money, I think it's the same thing. Only point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Next up is Teresa Anderson.
My name is Teresa Anderson. My voice is a little raspy. I'm here today to speak in opposition.
Residents, ma'am?
I'm sorry,
You city residents?
Middle Township. I'm here to speak in opposition to Ordinance 2025-9. I want to make it very clear that after reading the proposed ordinance and hearing prior testimony of the city's professionals and others, as well as a reading of the minutes of the City Council and the Planning Board, I understand that the purpose of the amendment to the ordinance is to prohibit substance use counseling or treatment center from being located in the B2 zone and allow these zone uses to be located within the B3 zone and others. Essentially, the ordinance proposes to exclude or isolate people with mental health issues, including substance use section or from sections of the city. And I take note of the fact that the ordinance singles out substance use counseling or treatment center as being unsuitable and therefore prohibited from the B2 zone, while at the same time continuing to allow uses such as adult bookstores and pawn shops to remain as permitted uses or suitable. No one has articulated specifically what it is about substance use counseling or treatment center that the city finds to be unsuitable to be embedded in neighborhood zones when the people served by substance use and mental health and other services provided by SJAA and similar organizations are the very people who live in the neighboring residential zones. Only a few people who've testified said the quiet part out loud. You are not welcome here. The proposed ordinance, 2025-9, says just that. you are not welcome here. The services provided in terms of substance use, counseling, or treatments benefit the residents of the city who are our neighbors, friends, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and children, as well as members of our community, organizations, including the YMCA. Some, if not many, of whom have transportation issues and benefit or will benefit from services being located within close proximity to their residences, including the B2 zone. I've had the opportunity to view the introductions of each of our council members, some of whom have indicated that mental health is of city residents is of utmost priority, as well as envisioning more inclusion within our society for all people. The proposed changes of the ordinance do not accomplish that. I would therefore ask that you vote no on the proposed ordinance, since while it may not be intentional, the concept in effect excludes, shuns, and isolates people with mental health and substance use, and thereby perpetuating stigma. And I know that I did not put it on the little blue paper, but I don't know if 2025 is up, but if that was adopted last 2 weeks ago or what. But I do note that the text of that ordinance uses words as abuse, alcoholics, and drug addicts. And these are heavily stigmatizing, labeling terms. And I would ask that the board consider using non-stigmatizing person-first language in drafting that ordinance. Thank you for your time.
Next up, we have Stephanie Mazzoni Engel.
The other mic.
This one.
Thank you.
Stephanie Mazzoni Engel, Newfield, New Jersey. Good evening, respected members of the council, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I stand before you to encourage your reconsideration of Ordinance 2025-9, which, if passed, will have a detrimental impact on the mental health and overall well-being of the people of Vineland. As a school social worker in the Vineland Public School District and the owner and clinical supervisor of the Healing Den, I've been providing outpatient mental health therapy to Vineland residents for over 20 years in one capacity or another. When I received the letter 2 weeks ago, I began to look into what exactly Zones B3 and I1 had to offer me as a small business owner. And I am here to urge you to reconsider how you are classifying these services. If myself or some of my colleagues that are here tonight were to have to rent industrial spaces, we would be out of business. Small private offices do not bring in the volume of clients that could afford these spaces. Furthermore, the plain truth is that B3 has very little to offer us in terms of availability as well. You will force us to shut down probably the most needed service outside of traditional medical care in the entire county. This move could have devastating consequences for the individuals and families who rely on these services, which are already stretched thin. As you know, mental health services are one of the most pressing needs in our community. Every day, we hear stories of people struggling with anxiety, depression, trauma, and other debilitating conditions. For many, therapy is the lifeline they need to heal. We work with your children, your parents, and your spouses to help them grieve or figure out how to navigate the challenges that they experience in their day-to-day lives. If you vote for this forced relocation, it could potentially eradicate these services in our area altogether. Our small business provides a safe, welcoming environment for people to seek help, and many of us are already in spaces that fit our clients' needs perfectly, spaces that are not found in industrial zones or B3 districts. By moving them to these zones, we would create more barriers to access and ultimately harm the very people who depend on these services. I ask you to reconsider the potential impact of this ordinance, not just on the businesses, but on the individuals who will lose access to the mental health support they need. Let us not make a decision today that could cause harm to our community tomorrow. I ask you to table this ordinance until a more objective plan can be made that can identify ways to keep these needed services in our community and accessible to everyone. I would also suggest that as city representatives, we be mindful of making statements like the ones that were made at the last meeting, such as mental health services are not suitable for our neighborhoods, and that it creates negative impacts on the character of these areas. This does contribute to the stigma of a growing problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just clarify something for you. I think you misread the ordinance. They're not suggesting that these services go into an industrial zone. It's to an IN1 zone, which is our hospital medical zone up on Sherman Avenue and there, around there.
Okay.
Not the industrial zone.
Isn't the area by the industrial park, isn't that considered I-1 as well?
No, not I-1, IN1.
Okay. Still, B3 is incredibly limiting.
I'm not arguing. I just wanted to point you out that it was not the industrial zone, it's the IN1 zone.
Are we aware, are there a lot of opportunities for office space for all of the places by the hospital?
I think if you go up all the medical providers and the offices up in the medical area, you can check for yourself.
Yeah, I did, and there really isn't any. So that is a concern.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Leanne Upshaw.
Dear honorable members of City Council, my name is
Speak into the mic, please, so we can hear you. Thank you.
I'm from Vineland. My name is Leanne. Obviously here to speak on Ordinance 2025-9. I am a member of the community. My children attend Vineland Public Schools, are active participants in Vineland's recreational sports. I also work at Vineland High School and as a social worker and have a small mental health facility in the area. I'm deeply concerned about the city's attempt to relocate the essential services. This is not just about a space issue, although that is a concern as well. This is about access to critical mental health care for some of the most vulnerable members of our community. These small mental health practices provide a safe and stable environment for our most underserved community members. We offer personalized care, often forming long-term relationships with our clients. I've been working in the community for over 20 years in some capacity. We aren't just service providers, we are lifelines to individuals, families, and children who are struggling within our community. Forcing small practices to relocate with no clear plan for where they will go or how clients will access care is disruptive and harmful. Displacing these services would further widen the gap in mental health care access, pushing our community members potential crisis situations that could have been prevented. I urge you to think about the long-term effects of approving this ordinance, which is the same one being used as a platform to keep our community safe. But by doing this, you're doing the exact opposite for our members of our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Carolyn Rush.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. My name is Carolyn Rush, and I am from Sea Isle City. I come here tonight just to add my voice to the chorus of voices you have already heard. I give, I believe it was Teresa, a lot of credit for getting up here and explaining to you the situation that she dealt with regarding her daughter. It brings into very clear perspective how important the services are that are provided by SJAA. I have a late son who was also suffering from mental illness and substance abuse disorder. I know how important it is to get the care that's needed for people that find themselves in these very difficult situations. And I agree with the other speakers who have said that it is wrong to stigmatize, to use the stigmatizing terms that we have in the past that make the people that suffer from substance abuse disorder seem like criminals or outcasts or people that have some sort of problem, you know, inherent in themselves and not really the disorder that it truly is. If SJAA has been providing a service to the people of Vineland, and those people have come to rely on that service, it is important that that service remain available to them. I did read through the ordinances, and I have to admit, I didn't fully understand them, but the gist that I get is that the outcome, should these ordinances be passed, is that the current facility will be moved to the outskirts of the city. If I'm wrong, I apologize for that, but that's a very basic understanding that I have about what you're considering here tonight. I think it's critical that the services remain where they are, that the people who need these services continue to be able to access them, and that we do everything that we can to keep those people alive. The only way to help someone deal with a substance abuse disorder is if they're alive to help. Once they've taken an overdose or contracted an illness that is terminal because of their substance abuse disorder, it may be too late. So doing everything within your power to help the most vulnerable among us is critical. So others who spoke before me spoke much more eloquently, but I implore you to listen to their voices as well as mine and do what's best for your community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up, Bonnie Pantaleo.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Pantaleo, and I do have a couple questions.
Where do you reside?
I reside in Vineland.
I'm sorry.
Vineland.
What did she
And,
say? Okay.
We got 3 certified letters. My question, number one, I'm against this, but my question is for you. When Stephanie Mazzoni was up here, thank you, the certified letter says, permit newly defined service offices in B3, B4, IB, and IN1 zones. You said that it is not in the industrial zone. Am I correct?
That's correct.
But why is it saying in the certified letter?
I think that what we had to notify everybody within whatever zone might have been affected, and there might have been an industrial zone that was affected, but the concept is to move them where the medical providers are.
So then this certified letter is not right.
No, that's not true. The certified letter is sent saying that all of these zones might be affected. In other words, there may be...
So your word is might.
You didn't let me finish, but go
I
ahead.
know.
You
Go
want
ahead.
to talk? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What's your question?
You just said might be affected.
Correct. The B1 zone, people in the B1 zone were also notified because the law requires us to notify anybody that lives in any zone that may be affected.
And I also got from you also that it kind of is the people, this ordinance is where the hospitals, you're trying to get it to where the hospitals.
The suggestion is that it be within the B3 zone. There's several B3 zones in the city of Vineland. The largest one is Delsey Drive. And then the IN1 zone, which is where the hospital is, where all the medical offices are.
My last question is, if this does pass, the nonprofit businesses that are in the zones, the B1 and the B2, are they going to be grandfathered?
They would be a pre-existing non-conforming use, correct?
So what is the purpose of this?
Make sure that the proper location for the uses are called out in our zoning ordinance, no different than a gas station is not allowed in a residential zone.
But they still stay.
They could, if they're pre-existing non-conforming, I don't know how many there are, but if they pre-exist, they can stay there, but new companies cannot.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
That's all I have.
All right, that's it. Madam Prosecutor, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Webb McCrae. I happen to be a lifelong proud resident.
Jennifer, raise the mic so we can pick it up.
Good afternoon. My name is
Thank you.
Jennifer Webb McCrae. I happen to be a proud lifelong resident of the city of Vineland. I'm here as a resident, but I'm also here in my capacity as the Cumberland County prosecutor. I did receive the notice about the zoning changes, and I understand that this may have started because people have concerns about the South Jersey Aid Alliance and the Clean Needle access. I can tell you as a parent of a child, a resident of Vineland, parent of a child that attended the Y, I call a Y kid, who attended preschool there as well as after school, I do think that there could be legitimate concerns on behalf of parents as well as the Y about that close proximity. It's a hard issue to tackle, but I think that the public health aspects of clean needle access need to be discussed because there are benefits to it. But what I would like to talk about tonight is the fact that it seems to be an overreach to be addressing all mental health and all substance abuse use to address that one issue. Why would a prosecutor's office be concerned about this issue? Why would I be concerned in my professional capacity? Because for my entire 30-year career as a criminal defense attorney and then as a county prosecutor, we've been addressing substance abuse issues, untreated substance abuse issues, untreated mental health issues that get kicked down the continuum to the criminal justice system. Thankfully for all of us, as the opioid abuse issue became more prevalent and the substance abuse issues started affecting middle class individuals and not just poor people, we've become kinder and gentler about the way we treat these issues. We all have members of our family that deal with mental health and deal with substance abuse. There are brothers, there are sisters, there are parents, there are children, and we all want them to be treated with dignity and respect. And most importantly, if you have had the ill fortune, as I have had, to deal with someone who has to address their mental health and their substance abuse issues, you want to be able to find access to treatment. And you want to be able to find that access to treatment where folks can get to it. We in Cumberland County suffer from transportation issues. We suffer from poverty. And people need to be able to access those services by bus, by walking, and it needs to be affordable. So I, as a resident, took a brief look at where the B1, B2 zones were. It appears to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that that's our center city area. I can tell you that that area aligns with the hot spots that we see for both substance abuse arrests as well as our calls for EDP services in the city of Vineland. So that says to me, if that is the area where people are suffering, that is the area where we need to build both substance abuse recovery capital as well as mental health treatment capital in our community. And that's why I'm here tonight talking about this very difficult issue. Now, if you moved these types of facilities to the I-N zone, that will be where I live. I live right by the hospital. And I'm here to tell you, we already have those treatment centers over in that area. I have to resist the urge to say, the NIMBY urge to say, not in my backyard, because everybody has to get to these services. So they are there. By our count, we think there's about 14 mental health and substance abuse treatment centers in this community. I am asking you to slow down. I'm asking you to use precision and not throw the baby out with the bathwater. And simply take your time to make sure that you're not zoning these types of facilities out of the areas where the most people need those services. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you very much. That it? Okay, we'll move on. We'll close the public. Chair will entertain a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-9 be continued to Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So moved. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Solicitor?
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
That's your cue.
I was trying to get it on my computer.
That's your key. You're the solicitor, Rick.
I just wanted to make an announcement that we had a little bit of a hiccup last council meeting. Due to the inclement weather prediction for last Tuesday on the 10th, the city council determined to be in the best for the safety of all who wish to comment on the proposed legislation to allow public comment in person and electronically. After the public hearing on proposed ordinance 2025-9 was continued, City Council opened and closed the public hearing on ordinance 2025-10 and adopted it. It was later learned that members of the public had appeared electronically but were inadvertently not recognized and therefore were not given the proper opportunity to comment on ordinance 2025-10. As a consequence, and to give all the public the opportunity to present comment on ordinance 2025-10, City Council will reconsider ordinance 2025-10, reopen the public hearing, and again consider its merits to adopt or defeat the ordinance.
Chair will entertain a motion to reconsider ordinance number 2025-10 and reopen the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion by council? Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-10. Ordinance amending ordinance 96-4 as amended chapter 425, article 15, section 425-270, entitled Word Usage, definitions to clarify the term office and substance abuse counseling or treatment center, and to consider other types of offices as defined terms in accordance with resolution 6667 of the City of Vineland Planning Board, which is ready for reconsideration and a reopened public hearing.
Chair will entertain a motion that ordinance number 2025-10 be taken up for public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
Move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. You have a list for that as well.
I have Carolyn Rush, who spoke on 9. Do you wish to speak on 10 as well? You wrote that down? No. All right, I have no other.
Yes, ma'am. On this, yes, absolutely.
Again, my name is Teresa Anderson, and I'm from Middle Township. And I had mentioned in my earlier addressing of the council that the proposed ordinance refers to certain words, they use certain terms and things like that, that have been determined to be stigmatizing. One is, it refers to substance abuse. The word abuse is a stigmatizing word, and actually the correct term is substance use or substance use disorder. Secondly, the ordinance later refers to recovering alcoholics. Alcoholics is a labeling, stigmatizing term. The correct term for that would be a person with an alcohol use disorder.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Alcohol use disorder. And drug addicts was another term that they had used. And all of the all of the literature regarding stigmatizing terms and things like that, you can find that probably within the State Department of Health and SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Association for the United States. But in any event, they recommend person first language. So it would be a person who, with a substance use disorder, but technically person first languages, so that was the purpose for my addressing the council right now. But I think that there were three troubling terms that the ordinance refers to, and I would ask that the board use different terms within the definition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Stephanie Mazzoni Engel, Newfield, New Jersey. I just want to, I don't have anything prepared, but please be conscientious when you're looking at the definitions of the different offices that, depending on the wording, it can really, I mean, how do I say this? Like, when we talk about mental health offices, in my office, we work with little children, and it seems like some of the definitions that we're talking about tonight are big agencies that are providing harm reduction and, different services that maybe we want closer to the hospital per se and things like that. But we also have strategically placed some of these professional offices in places where kids, like high school students, can be find them accessible. So I just think that using language that is all-encompassing may also be detrimental to how this continues to move forward. I hope that makes sense. Just think that we really need to look at definitions before making any firm decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-10 be continued to Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-10, ordinance amending, ordinance number 2025-12, ordinance authorizing the execution of a contract and other documents necessary for the acquisition of Block 122, Lot 1, and Block 122, Lot 3, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-12 be taken up for a public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who likes to be heard on ordinance number 2025-12? Seeing no one, Chair will entertain a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-12 be closed.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-12 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So move. Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-12, ordinance authorizing the execution of a contract and other documents necessary for the acquisition of Block 122, Lot 1, and Block 122, Lot 3. With a vote of 5 yeas, this ordinance is hereby adopted.
Mr. Franchetta, please submit ordinance number 2025-12 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes. I present ordinance number 2025-13, ordinance authorizing the transfer of certain industrial property to the Vineland Industrial Commission pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-13 and approving the sale of said industrial property by Vineland Industrial Commission pursuant to NJSA 40:5B-1 et sec, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-13 be taken up for a public hearing, open to the public for discussion.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas? President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to be heard on ordinance number 2025-13? Seeing none. Chair will entertain a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-13 be closed.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-13 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So move. Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-13, ordinance authorizing the transfer of certain industrial property to the Vineland Industrial Commission pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-13 and approving the sale of said industrial property by Vineland Industrial Commission pursuant to NJSA 40:55B-1 et sec. With a vote of 5 yeas, this ordinance is hereby adopted.
Franchetta, please submit ordinance number 2025-13 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes. I present an ordinance number 2025-14, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the city of Vineland, various titles of the IBEW, Local 210, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Non-Union 2, Non-Union 3, and appointed officials, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-14 be taken up for public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to be heard on ordinance number 2025-14? Seeing none. Chair entertains a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-14 be closed.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-14 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So move. Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-14, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the city of Vineland, various titles of IBEW, Local 210, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Non-Union 2, Non-Union 3, and appointed officials. With a vote of 5 yeas, this ordinance is hereby adopted.
Mr. Franchetta, please submit ordinance number 2025-14 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes.
Thank you.
Present ordinance number 2025-15, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the city of Vineland, tentative title Local Government 10103, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion on ordinance number 2025-15 be taken up for public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on ordinance number 2025-15? Seeing no one, Chair entertains a motion that public hearing on ordinance number 2025-15 be closed.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-15 be taken up for final reading and adopted according to law.
So move. Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas? Yes. President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-15, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification compensation plans for the City of Vineland, tentative title Local Government 10103. With a vote of 5 yeas, this ordinance is hereby adopted.
Mr. Franchetta, please submit ordinance number 2025-15 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes.
Thank you.
I present ordinance number 2025-16, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-16 be taken up for first reading.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-16, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which is revised the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland Public Defender.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-16 be passed for first reading and the public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move. Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-17, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-17 be taken up for first reading.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2025-17, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland, Vineland Police Captains Association.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-17 be passed for first reading, that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move. Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
I present ordinance number 2025-18, which is ready for first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-18 be passed for first reading, that a public, oh no, we're not that far.
Nope.
You got to read the ordinance,
Introduction.
Rich.
Introduction. So that you're opening, yeah. An ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland, Vineland Superior Officers Association, the VSOA.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2025-18 be passed for first reading and that public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m.
So move. Second.
Discussion by council. Seeing none.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes.
There's a motion to approve all the consent items on the agenda.
We do have a resolution here for the Red Cross. So I'm just going to read the resolution into the record. Whereas during the American Red Cross Month in March, we recognize the compassion of people in Vineland and reaffirm our commitment to care for one another in times of crisis. Whereas its generous spirit is woven into the fabric of our community and advances the humanitarian legacy of the American Red Cross founder Clara Barton, one of the most honored women in our country's history who notably dedicated herself to alleviating suffering. And whereas today, kind-hearted individuals in our community exemplify Barton's commitment as they step up through the American Red Cross New Jersey region to provide a beacon of hope for our neighbors in need. Whereas through their voluntary and selfless contributions, they make a life-saving difference in people's darkest hours, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort during disasters, providing critical blood donations for hospital patients, supporting military families, veterans, and caregivers through the unique challenges of service, saving lives with first aid, CPR, and other skills, or delivering aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by global crisis. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor and City Council of the City of Vineland, New Jersey, commend the American Red Cross and designate March 2025 as American Red Cross Month and encourage all citizens to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. Liz, I'll give this to you to give to people in the Red Cross.
Motion to approve all on the consent, yeah.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda.
So move. Second.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman Vargas?
Yes.
President Spinelli.
Yes. This time, council members wish to be heard. Dr. Arthur?
Yes, thank you for the resolution for the Red Cross. And I would just add that I am working with the Red Cross to do a blood drive for sickle cell anemia patients that we have a shortage of blood for the Black community, which is normally the ones that are suffering from that disease. So in the month of March, I will be working with someone from, Caitlin rather, from the Red Cross to come up with some locations to do blood drives. So if anybody knows of them or anyone, contact me or the Red Cross. We'll be working on that.
Great.
Thanks.
I want to thank the students that came up and did the Pledge of Allegiance today. Thank you.
Okay. Vargas?
Yes, I'd like to also thank the Petway Safety Patrol for coming out. Like always, we really have fun with the school members. I also like to congratulate all the retirees. Well deserved. And also like to congratulate Richard Franchetta and Mary Ann Wolf on their new assignments. Good luck with everything. And again, shoes for you, sir. We truly know that you will handle it well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy, how are you? Yes, I got some good stuff. I wrote down, what do I have here? First, congratulations, Mary Ann and Rich. Keith, I've known Keith a long time, 36 plus years, but we go way back to when I was a high school football player. He would come out there and volunteer his time. Just really the consummate professional. When I watch him up there, we got sworn in a couple weeks back, and everybody's reading off the sheet. Not that man. And said he brings his A game every day. And you've got some big shoes to fill, as Al said here as well. Laura, I've known Laura pretty much all my life, too, from the high school days. We're talking 40 years, she said. Wow, that's pretty impressive. And then Armando, I do know Armando as well. So, I wish them all the best of luck in their retirements. Hopefully someday I'll get there. And what do we have here? Also, public service announcement from my good friend Carlos Mercado. I got to pull this up here. What do I have here? Please share this with everyone. The City of Vineland will host an Irish flag-raising ceremony Monday, March 3rd, on the steps of City Hall, 640 East Wood Street, Vineland, New Jersey, beginning at 11 a.m. This year's keynote speaker will be NJFMBA President Ed Donnelly, and he just encourages everyone to please come out and support the President and everyone during the ceremony. Finally, what do I have? Finally, the people that came out from the public, I pretty much, they covered anywhere they didn't cover in South Jersey. They came from all over. I do appreciate getting educated on subjects like this, and I do take the time to do the research, and I also feel the door should swing both ways, that they should educate themselves as well. We are all up here trying to do what is best for our city here in Vineland, and trust me, when we say we need to go back and do the work is being done. Trust me, I see the way these people work. We will come up with the best solution, as I believe Vineland always does. So remember, there are two sides to every story, and we will do what is best for this city moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, President's remarks real quick. Bobby, just do me a favor in the Cavallo Drive situation. We take care of it. Please talk to Ellen and I and see what's going on. And maybe get back to the gentleman who's here and let him know what's happening. And again, it's great that everybody comes out and voices their opinion. We're glad to see people come out to do these things. Just be very aware that we understand the issues. We have researched the issues, despite what a lot of people think we haven't. But we also are up here to look at what's best for everybody in the city of Vineland. There's no doubt, I'm up and down the avenue and all over town. I travel. I'm retired and I travel the city. I know Al does the same thing. Cruz, I know, does the same thing. I know Doc does the same thing. So we're all over. We see what's going on and where it's at and where it's not. We will do our best. The prosecutor did say one thing: you're between a rock and a hard place, and we know that. So we are going to do what we think is best for the majority of the people in the city of Vineland. And the one misconception that continues to come up constantly is that we're trying to close them. That is not the case at all. We're just trying to put them where we think is the right spot for it. And the IN zone, which we have talked about here numerous times, near the hospital, there is public transportation. So you can get there. There's buses. All right? There's Cumberland County buses that go all over the place. And it is a medical area, and there are tons of open spaces in those condo units that are on Sherman Avenue. Now, nobody's trying to kick the AIDS Alliance out or anybody else out of where they're presently existing. What does happen in a zone change, if it does change, is they can stay because they're a pre-existing use, which the solicitor said. But they cannot expand their physical presence nor the services that they provide. So if they want to expand, then they would have to move. That's up to them, how they want to deal with the situation. We have done the research on zoning and where these things belong and don't belong. We've also seen a lot of places that have had harm reduction centers and that, quite frankly, their whole downtown was closed. And if anybody wants to look at it, you can just look up Kensington, Pennsylvania. All right, and it's a nightmare, and we don't want that to happen here. So we are going to look at all the information, not just one side. We will look at their side. We have already, and we have to look at the other side as well, and we have to figure it out, and we will figure it out. And every one of us up here takes it very seriously. The administration takes it very seriously. We've probably spent more hours doing this stuff than we've done on almost anything we've done. And we've done some pretty big projects in Vineland. So that being said, I don't want people to think that we just blow it off. It doesn't happen that way. We do the homework. I'm in City Hall every day, and I don't make 6 digits by any means. In fact, I'm lucky to make double digits. So the reality check on it is we're here as a community service. I spend more time here than I did on my full-time job when I was making over $100,000 a year. I'm retired. I love Vineland. I've lived here my whole life, and I want what is best for the entire city, and that's how we will make our decisions. So thank you very much. We appreciate the input, and we will consider it all, and we will move forward. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Councilman English?
Yes.
Councilman Gomez?
Yes.
Councilman